All right, welcome to this live stream. Oh my god, the thing says it's too slow. Hopefully not. I'm gonna turn that fan off. It's too loud. We need to keep this room kind of quiet because, well, we don't want to hear just a bunch of hiss and noise. Hopefully, yeah, the audio is working, right? How are we doing here? 98 of us tonight. Oh man, see, it's kind of jittery. The internet might not be fast enough tonight. Hopefully that's not the case. Anyways, welcome to this live stream. This is, I didn't go yesterday because we were busy. Of course, it was a holiday, so we are doing stuff. But here we are on Tuesday, and I try to be a little bit earlier. So yeah, 6 p.m., which means that a lot of you guys that are on the East Coast will be able to join us here. Hopefully we'll have a bit of different people than we usually have. Yeah, it is kind of jittery. Oh, man. Okay, what is going on here? It's red, it's yellow. At 19 kilobytes per second. Can I adjust that? Let me see if I can adjust that. Because last time I don't know if it saved those settings. Let me see here. Stream. Output. Oh, look at that. Video bitrate 2000. I don't need 2000. Maybe 1000, right? Let's do that. Let's see if that helps right there. Ooh, but look at that. It's 700, 300, 1200. There we go. It's green now. I think maybe that did it. The bitrate. Yeah, it's staying. Okay, so it's still going below. Yeah, 700. Okay, well, whatever. If it gets too bad, let me know in the comments, guys. But as of right now, we're good to go, I think. Hopefully. So it is changing all over the place. I think my connection's a little bit not that good. Have you heard? Wait, so let's read. So again, for those of you who are new, there is about 10,000 new members to the channel this month. What we do here every week, which is go live, which is talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Mostly batteries, because most of you guys want to talk about batteries and stuff. And then I usually put a theme at the beginning of this. Most times we end up just discussing it lightly, and then we go right into your questions. But this week's theme is about how do we help, right? There are things that are happening in the world that we might be capable of helping, right? We have this very peculiar thing, right? I know, like the Bahamas, for example, right now, it needs, they need a lot of help. They don't need power packs. They need like food and shelter and all this other stuff, right? But eventually, once that all, ends, then rebuilding is going to need, in the rebuilding phase, they're gonna need power, right? And so some of these little projects that we've done in the past where we help them get emergency power by putting a little battery box, right? A little battery in a box with an inverter and USB, plugs in there and stuff. It just can help and make a huge difference in people, while they're trying to rebuild and trying to get back to some kind of normal life. So as of right now, I think we're still in the disaster part of the thing, but I know that a lot of people in the US, and I hear it, I've been getting a lot of emails and a lot of messages from people that are getting ready. And so they're actually, hey, we need to build a thing, we need to build our, systems, our little battery packs and stuff, and bigger ones so they can run, and keep food cold maybe, and, food from perishing and stuff like that, and lights. Lights are very important. You don't want to be in the dark. The darkness can make things just that much more worse. And then communication, right? If you have a device and stuff and you don't have power with it, then it's very important. So just a little bit of emergency power can go a long way to make a huge difference when people are in a bad place, right? And a lot of people are going to be in a bad place because it seems like this storm season is not going to be kind to us, at least in the East Coast of the United States, right? As of we're seeing already in the Bahamas and stuff. So, yeah, let's see what you guys are reading. Get Your Bone. Thank you for the $1.99. Highly appreciate it there. Let's see here. I've never seen Jay who do stuff so fast. Really? Bahamas are going to need a lot of help. That is true. They are going to need a lot of help. And I'm open to ideas. What you guys think? KevDog20 says, have you heard Light of Kala? They sell 18 cells and more. Any other customer reviews were good. Want to see if you have heard of them. Yeah, I actually have a video where I bought some of them. And wait, was it a video? It might have been like one of these live chats that I did where I bought a bunch of them. And out of all of them, most of them were fake. Most of them were obviously not the cells that they came. But there was at least one of them that were performing just like the real cell. So, you know, by all accounts or by every measurable way, they seemed like they were legit, right? But it was one seller out of like 10, right? And one cell out of like 10 different versions of cells. And that cell, I actually did put it in the kit.com, you know, my little list of, you know, confirmed good sales or good sources for batteries and lithium batteries. Yeah, so they're kind of hit and miss, right? So if you're gonna get some, you gotta get some and then test them and figure out if they're good quality cells or not. And then after that, then yeah, then you can decide if you're gonna want to buy them. But just don't go and crazy and order a bunch of cells from just any seller just because they're light of colors. There's apparently they're it's just a brand, and everybody is either, I don't know if it's either them or someone else, they're trying to pass those as good cells. Bob, let me just check if the dog already ate, because he's bugging me and he's not gonna give up. That's how it works with him. When he's hungry, and I gotta ask my dad if he fed him or not. Just a quick little second, just to get him some food, and then that's it, okay? This is a test of a Lidocala branded LGHG2 cell. According to the spec sheet, this cell can do a maximum of 20 amp continuous and shouldn't go above 75 degrees Celsius in temperature. And just like that, with that little crack, the cell is damaged beyond repair. At 15 amp load, the cell reached a maximum temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, at which point the CID was triggered, and now the battery is open circuit. So that's how you kill a fake LGHG2 branded Lidocala cells. All right, and we're back. I just served him. He hadn't eaten. That's why he was complaining. All right. Feel like at a comedy club? What? Waiting for the first act. Yes, didn't expect to see this. Honestly, glad to see you're helping them. Well, I'm not helping yet. I thought I'd do this, and we kind of discussed how we can help. Really am I survived Dorian, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can help. I'm not so gung-ho about using, you know, like the established ways of helping, right? You always read these like articles of like 1% or 10% of the proceeds go to the actual cause, and everything else is like, you know, lining the pockets of everyone involved in between. And so I'm like, well, screw that, that's too much money, you know what I mean? Like, people give out of the goodness of their heart, and most of that money is not going to help people. So, you know, I know sometimes that's the only way, but I think there's other ways that we can do, you know. And with Puerto Rico, for example, we did, you know, it's like there's very little waste during that time. Everything that was donated, we were able to get a system going, and then it went into the hands of someone there who needed it, you know. And hopefully even now in this storm season, those little systems are either still in service or they're still floating around. If maybe that family didn't like it, maybe they went to someone else, even if they were sold or whatever, like they're probably hopefully still on the island. They're still gonna serve a purpose hopefully this season, right? Because that was only like 2 years ago. But moving forward, I think, yeah, there's always a way that we can do something better here. Man, the internet's so slow. It's not working here. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Should I set this thing up here? Let's see. I'm just seeing the light keeps going red, like it's red again. So it's too slow. What if I go and even slow down the thing? Okay, come on. No? Settings? Oh, here we go. Settings. Output. Let's do 500. Let's see if this will help. I don't know what's this gonna do to the quality of the thing, but at the very least, maybe it should. Yeah, see, we're below 1,000 here, and it's still green. Hopefully, that means that it's gonna be nice and steady, and at the very least, you guys will be able to hear me. Yeah, look at that. Now it's just sticking around at 600. Oh, okay, there we go. Maybe that's gonna do it there. I'm in Florida and it's a lot of wind here. There you go. Whatever you did helped quite a bit. Less jumpy. So I actually did a little bit more now. High impact vlogs. It will speak the truth about the hurricane. It's still doing it. Hacking the headlines. Do you think the shift by BW to spend 50 billion the next 8 years to manufacture 22 million electric vehicles will be most using lithium titanate type batteries? No, I don't think so. Those things are nowhere near as energy dense as they need to be to get those to be in cars. Those are experimental. They're big, they're heavy, they're expensive. They're not there. I mean, maybe if someone invests, I don't know. I don't know what the thing is, but for cars, they need to be the latest, the most energy dense, and those are not it, right? So, and I don't even know if BW is actually going to make electric cars. It seems like they have to, but I think they're dragging their feet, right? Then they just get caught lying again or something. Yeah, I have very little faith in that company as to doing the right thing or whatever. Power roll PCBs, how many can I use per BMS PCB? 50 amp worth, right? So whatever you're gonna do, whatever cells and whatever they can put out, each board can do a maximum of 4 amps, right? Or, you know, usually about 1C, so there's not a lot of batteries that could do more than, well, there's some, but not all of them. So yeah, it's just add it up, all your batteries, and wherever you're gonna be comfortable. Remember, you're building a thing. If you're using used batteries, you're gonna have to go easy on them. You can't go crazy and expect to get, you know, the top performance out of them, right? So not if you want them to last anyways, and if you want a really ultra safe system, right? So what you do is you go easy on them, and like I design my systems to be under 1 amp per cell, right? So yeah, and when you do that, then you add up all the amperage of all those battery modules, right? And then you can put 1 BMS board per 50 amps, right? Continuous. That board can handle about 50 amp continuous. Also, not a great idea to run it like really high, close to peak, because then it's gonna fail eventually. It's gonna run hot. It's gonna, right? So also, you know, everything run it with a lot of headroom, right? That's a good way to design a system so it lasts a long time and it's really, really safe. If your equipment is not struggling to keep up, right, to deliver the amount of currents that you're asking, then they're will be less likely to fail, right? So that's a good philosophy to design a system. Sir, thanks to you, created my own DeWalt 20 volt 40 amp hour pack for my little 20 volt trimmer. She's a beast. There you go. Good job. Right now, most of the islands affected are entirely underwater. Right now, they need something that can float and they can survive on after that they need food. Yes, exactly. I mean, right now, yeah, right now I think it's a little bit out of our hands. I think right now it needs to like, I mean, yeah, people need to, like big agency needs to mobilize. Maybe the U.S. Air Force, like that person, right, that I'm in contact with, where that's the reason why, they're trying to build these systems so they're there whenever something like this happens, they can go and quickly deploy them and stuff, right? And so they have a lot of equipment at their disposal, and it's the U.S. Air Force, right? It's like there's a lot of money behind them, there's a lot of equipment and stuff, and so hopefully they're gonna mobilize. I gotta ask them. I think I can text them and ask them if what's the plan, like what are they gonna do or whatever, and if maybe we can contribute to that, right? That's one avenue that maybe we can focus our effort and then help them, which is weird, right? But because right now it seems like unless you're there, unless you have some equipment, heavy equipment, or unless you help some of these associations like the Red Cross or whoever's in charge of helping a lot of people there, it's the only way, right? But I think what we need to do is like start looking forward into how we're gonna handle this and how we're gonna be able to use that. Once the needs shift from just survival to now, trying to rebuild and stuff. Trump's golfing, says J-Rock. I called for uprising on YouTube. Buffering again. So it's green right now. Hey, Jehu, what happened with the megawatt project? It was dropped. Yeah, they didn't really want to pay what it was going to take to get it off the ground. It was going to take quite a bit of like engineering and stuff because it's such a large project, and it was going to have to be legit. It was going to be connected to the grid, right? So it needed to go through a lot of scrutiny and a lot of permitting process and stuff. And once they were like, it seems like it's more involved that they wanted to get, so then they just dropped it. So it's not happening. Power ridges to DC besides the frigid and HC. What? I don't get that one. There we go. Let's see. It hasn't lagged in a bit here in Georgia. Yeah, I think it's good. I think I lowered it to about 500 kilobits per second, so we should be good. We have to help Brazil change all the politicians. Yeah, Brazil is kind of a weird thing. It's another unprecedented. I don't know. Well, it's not unprecedented. It's been happening. It's happened before, but it's weird because they're like, screw everyone. This is our country. We should, stop meddling in our affairs, right? But then people are like, it's not just your country. Now you're talking about the health of the planet, right? It's true, and it's also true that maybe some scientists are saying that in reality, that forest or that jungle is not really. We don't use that oxygen or whatever, right? But I think that's less as important because I think generally, if the world's biggest jungle is not healthy, then the world is in a worse off, right? The whole planet is worse off, and so it does affect everyone. So everyone should have a say. So it's like it's not just your forest, it's not just your jungle. It's like it's the planet's health now here that you're screwing with, and we have a say so, right? I don't know. So it's weird, but yeah, I think so. I think people. I think it's not a good move to try to just make a buck. At the risk of everything else, the planet's health, I mean, we're the only ones that are going to suffer. That's a weird thing. It's like we're the only animal that doesn't have enough foresight to see that we're causing our own demise, right? Like, the planet's fine. The planet doesn't need us. The planet will keep going without us. It's us that we need the planet, and we're, we're changing it in a way that so we're gonna suffer the consequences, you know. And I know not all humanity thinks this way, but those in power seem to, and a lot of the people that put them in power, right? So it's a weird thing. How are so many humans short-sighted? How are so many people like, we just need to make money, you know? Cut the trees down, burn the trees down, so we can make paper and whatever, you know? It's weird. I don't know. Hopefully we can change this around. Scott Warner says, sharing, received my first 5 PCBs from JLC PCB for testing my battery monitoring system. Have assembled one so far and works pretty good. Oh, there you go. Yeah, guys, out of all of you guys that are using that PCB, how many of you have ordered directly? Right, because I only have the numbers from the stuff that I've shipped myself. But of course, that's much more expensive than just ordering everything yourself, right? It's more work, and you have to like keep track of everything, and yeah, there's a few stuff that you have to figure out. But you know, I think a lot of you guys are ordering straight from China, from the sellers themselves and stuff, right? That's literally the cheapest way, the most affordable way that you can get the system going, right? You don't have to give me money and stuff, and that's totally okay with me, right? I'm like, because I know I can't handle everything. This is, you know, there's just enough people asking me to, you know, sell them a kit that they wouldn't have to like go search for, that I thought like, okay, I'll try it. And at this point, there's a crazy amount of them out there, like something like 15,000 or something are going, right? But I don't have a way to know how many of you guys have ordered directly. So it'd be interesting to do a, whatever, what is that? A poll to see how many of you guys have ordered directly, like he has here, Scott Warner. They will be River Murray Smith paper batteries. Yeah, he was right here. Is this show about batteries? Sometimes. Which lap before were not so much coin. Yeah, so it's so weird because they're kind of rare. They're not really used, right? If they had more energy density, then they would be widely adopted in automotive use, and therefore they would be much more produced, right, or widely produced, and so then the prices would go down. But because they're not, right, they're just now at this point they're only being used in storage applications and stuff like that, and so that therefore they're much more expensive, which sucks. Let's see. Ruben Salazar's in the house. He's a member of the channel. That's why he's got the little battery icon. Let's see here. Ooh, that jumped right there. Thanks for the response. What exactly do I need to look for? Because when I test to see if the batteries are good, I usually check to see if the milliamp hours are accurate. Is there something else I need to do? Yeah, so, I mean, you have to test the performance, right? So you get the battery and then you check the capacity. That's one thing, right? But you can get 3,400 milliamp hour cells that are not alike, right? There are some 34 milliamp cells that can put out a ton of power. In the case of the VTC6s and the 30Qs and some of those high power ones that are also high energy dense. So that's what you have to test, right? You have to load test them. You put a load and then you check the temperature and see how hot they get. Now if they're burning up at half of the load that the spec sheet specifies, then they're fake. They're not, or they're fake, or they're degraded, or they're, you know, somehow compromised cells, right? They're not giving you what the spec sheet says. So basically what you have to do is get the spec sheet of that one cell that you're buying and then try to recreate all the tests they did to come up with all those numbers. And then if they match, then you got a good cell. And so then you can then you can buy them, right? And hope that the seller doesn't change once you start buying in more batches. Because if they only have one little box of like genuine cells and they have a bunch of fake ones, right, then they might start mixing them, That's the crazy thing about buying batteries from China, is you just never know. So it's a problem. It's a hit and miss kind of thing. Planet will just shake like a wet dog and proof. There we go. What about for the first year all the ice on the North Pole is melted? Yeah, I mean all the expensive real estate is gonna be gone in the shores of the world, right? So yeah, a lot of people are gonna be displaced or whatever, and I don't know if that's the biggest thing, but I think once down the line, you know, I mean, there's plenty of land, right? There's plenty of land to go inward, right? But it's gonna be really inconvenient if you live anywhere in the shore in the world. We use the planet like Earth, like if we had another one. Yeah, that's true. We're playing Russian roulette with the planet. It's with the atmosphere, right? We only have one, like Elon says. World Bank is what screws these countries up. It is really sad things that happen in the Bahama. It is. It's crazy. I've never been there, and I think the worst thing is that people are, well, at least some scientists are predicting that it's gonna keep happening. So all these like nice places, you know, it's not the first time, right? All these little islands have been, you know, suffered through a lot of these disasters and stuff. But definitely it takes a long time to recover. And if you get into this point where they're predicting that every year the storms are gonna keep growing and strength and stuff, then it might be a time where there's just not enough time in between these storms and these, you know, that is not, yeah, so that's crazy. We don't want it to be there, right? Kareen Cyril Brooks says, my mom's house in Freeport got demolished. Oh man, that's sad to hear. Is that Freeport, is that in the Bahamas, or is that like in Florida? I don't know. Has it hit Florida yet, or no? They're still kind of waiting for Florida, right? There's high winds. It's heading towards Florida from what I heard the last time, but I don't know if it's actually hit there yet. I remember you had a drama with one of your bulk purchases. Sorry that happened. Yeah, but it was mostly not related to them. It was more, well, it's a bit of both, I think. It was mostly more related to my partners. I'm partnered with some people, and then they weren't doing the end of their work. But yeah, it's there's always, it's a challenge to get batteries from China, unfortunately. The West Mountain radio design, 12-volt base gear. Let's see. How about make some 12-volt solar cells and some less LEDs lamps that can't use car batteries, some inverters. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna refresh all these little, you know, projects that I've done in the last year, and then refresh them now today, right? Things have changed, definitely. Now it's easier to build batteries because now we have our system. And by the way, our system, I already have the first batch where they're all assembled, populated, my boards, right? So we'll be able to start offering those, right? It's just, I have a feeling they're gonna sell out really quickly. So I'm trying to build stock so that I don't announce it and then they're sold out, kind of thing, right? And then you guys are like, hey, I didn't get that. Why are you announcing things you don't have in stock? But definitely so maybe that's what the videos are going to be about. I'm showing you how to build these little projects, but with the updated ways of doing batteries, right? And so it's going to be much cheaper, hopefully, much cheaper and easier. Which batteries are recommended as of today on the HP PCB kits? So, you know, use batteries. Yeah, if you're gonna use batteries, get the power tool ones that batteryhookup.com sells, right? Because those can push out like, you know, 10, 15 amps or whatever. And if you need that much, if you need the you know, the high power ones are usually to be like a small battery that you want to push kind of, you know, a lot of power out, or at least like 2C, around 2C, right? That's what they're rated. Now, if you want new cells, the best ones are obviously the ones that EV West is selling. They have two versions of them. They have the NCR 18650Bs, and then they have the what is this? This is it. Yeah, this is the NCR 18650B, and then there is the Sony, the VTC6s, right? And those are, he has them in special right now, like they're kind of discounted and stuff, and they're brand new. The only problem is that you have to buy in bulk one case, which is about 200 cells on the Sony ones and 180 on the NCR ones, on the Panasonic ones. And they're not wrapped, so you'll have to do your own wrapping, which, you know, it's easy, but I guess for like, it just throws off a lot of people. They're like, I don't want to do that. I know some people that are buying other batteries that are more expensive just because they don't want to go through the process. I'm like, what? Really? You don't want to? It's really easy. You just do the thing, you know, run a heat gun through it. But yeah, it's a big put off for some people. So those are the best ones that you can buy right now. You think having 90 active volcanoes under Antarctica might have something to do with it? Could be. Could be also, right? It's obviously not out of the realm of possibility. But, you know, but it could also be that we're just screwing up this. That we're just creating too much of the wrong gases. And we're just, you know, not paying attention or not carrying enough. You know, the thing is that while we figure it out, you know, we don't stop, or we start doing something about it. I heard, what's his name the other day, asking him, he was thinking like, what if we could make this, some kind of machine that sucks up all this carbon, you know, like all those gases, the CO2, and, you know, takes it out of the atmosphere stuff, you know, and I'm thinking to myself like, it already exists. They're called trees. We just need to go and plant way more trees. You know, we're cutting way too many of them down, right? So more than that are growing up, right? Or that we're cutting them at a higher rate than we're replenishing. So if we just start planting more than we're cutting, then we're gonna be in a better way, right? So I don't know. It's already there. You don't need no machine. It's already built. Nature gave it to us. Okay, thank you. I just placed an order for 100 of the 18 seasons from China, so fingers crossed. Ooh, there you go. China and India are building molten salt reactors. We are not. What year was the smart car that you got battery back from the... So that was a 2008, I think? 2008 or 2009, something like that? Yeah, 2008, I believe. Those were the years. Have you seen the latest bit of Will Snowflake talking about how people that use the Chinese grid-tie inverters should be prosecuted and charged because they put grid workers' life at risk? Have you seen the latest vid? No, I haven't seen that latest vid. The Chinese grid ties don't, I mean, all of those, they shut down, right? They don't pose very much risk to anyone, because if they malfunction and they stay on, when the grid goes down, then they're going to be overloaded, and so they're going to shut down, right? They're going to be like burned up, basically. Because just think about it. The grid is a big, hungry thing, right? Everyone's connected to it, and everyone's going to use things. Now, sure, if every single house has one of these Chinese things and then they all fail at the same time and they all stay on, then it could be a potential problem, right? But if it's an isolated thing here and there, then there's no threat whatsoever. Like you can kill alignment thing. It's a dumb argument. It's a thing that it's an impossible, right? I mean, it's not impossible. I guess a very unlikely thing. The possibilities of that happening are like, you're better off winning the lottery than that thing happening. How is a little 1,000 watt inverter gonna power the entire grid? enough to still have some power to, like, you know, kill a lineman. So it's dumb, right? That argument is dumb. You shouldn't be using stuff that it's not put out there, right? But at the same time, I don't know. It's up to everyone to judge what, you know, how much compliance they're gonna be, right? There are rules for everything, especially here in California. There are rules for every single thing, right? And so I think everyone decides how much compliance they're gonna be, right? And so, you know, I don't know the rules. I have zero interest in finding out what the rules are and the regulations and the thing, right? Zero interest in that. So I'm not gonna comment on it because I'm not an expert. And the problem that I see is that there's a lot of people that just like read a thing, they read one little article and then they're like, oh, I'm an expert now. I'm going to go and recommend people do this. And I'm going to argue like if I'm some kind of an expert, right? And I'm like, I'm no expert. You know, I know a very little thing about very little things, right? And so I think I'm going to concentrate in talking about the technical aspects of the things that I know something about, a little bit about. And the rules and the laws and the regulations, I leave that to someone. It's like they're all changed from county to county, to state, or country to country. And my audience is, you know, it's worldwide right now. There's 167 of you, but like half of you guys are in other countries, right? In other jurisdictions that have none of these rules, right? And so if it was something that it was dangerous, I'd say, yeah, don't do it, right? But you're not endangering any linesman, right? Like, there's no logic there. Like, you're like, the potential of having a linesman die because of this thing, it's so unlikely that I'm like, you're just wasting your time. Now, again, it's up to you guys. If you guys want to be by the book and follow every code and the thing, go for it. I'm not going to say don't do it. But I'm definitely not going to, you know, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert about the rules and regulations and the thing, because I don't know anything about it. And that's the truth. And I haven't seen the video. I didn't know he had made a video about that. That kid is kind of weird. I don't know. I mean, he's doing his thing, right? I don't know. I know, but I think you should first focus on the pollution. Okay, what are we talking about here? There's about 2 to 3 minutes delay. Yeah, there is. Did you know with grid tie inverter, power company can turn down, off your mice inverter? I don't know what your mice inverter is. So the thing is that you shouldn't be pushing. It's a bad idea to be pushing back power into the grid, right? Like on the videos that I'm showing, those grid tie inverters, I'm producing way less than I'm using. So it never leaves my home. That power never leaves. I'm just supplementing what I'm taking, what I'm trying to take in, right? And so, yeah, I don't never promote you sell. Here, it's a bad deal, right? Like, even if you have a net meter contract, you're selling to the grid or to the utility at wholesale, but then you're buying it back at retail, right? And so that's a bad agreement to have. Into how V3 superchargers were. Let me ask. Not yet. Sorry, I'm just a lot of text messages. Well, here people are watching and commenting. Jehu, I have 400 amps for my house batteries and refuse to pay $949 a piece for Battleborn. I have 400 amps for my house batteries. Oh, okay. On his RV. Yeah, Battleborns are expensive, but they're good batteries, I guess. And if you don't, I mean, there's other ways you can build them. Yeah, there's ways you can get cheaper. It's not super cheap. That's the thing with lithium iron phosphate. It's kind of expensive, right? I mean, you can get the other chemistries for a lot less, but they're not, as safe and they're not as lasting. So, yeah, there's a thing there. Hurricane's about 85 miles from the coast. Okay, so it's It's on its way. That's not a good thing. My state has the highest stockpile of thorium in the world that makes those fluoride solid reactors. Oh, that's crazy. Why isn't something like the Droke monitor with over-under protection good enough to take care of BMS functions other than balancing? Skip BMS and yeah, no. So I actually, I've used it in most of these little guys, the little packs that I'm doing. I'm using it as a BMS. The only thing that was missing is the balancing, right? And so that's why I have ordered a couple of these guys, even the big ones here, right, to handle the balancing. Because if then that's the only thing that's missing, the balancing. Those little meters, they handle everything else, under, lower, with a relay on there, right? There's some people that don't like the relay stuff, and the relay can be tricky because if you switch while under load, then your relay kind of takes a dump, right? So you have to get like this big relays. I'm testing these ones right now, and my battery on the outside stopped working. I gotta go check it out. It might be this relay the reason why either it got welded shut or open. Probably open. Well, both of them, it could be trouble. If it stays welded open, which is weird, how would it stay welded open? But I guess it can happen. Then your battery just never connects and you can't have power. If it stays welded shut, then maybe the battery can be drained and like at no point it ever disconnects to save the battery. So it's bad on both ends, right? Hi Jehu, what BMS are you going to use with your Tesla modules in the background? So I don't really know. Again, I am experimenting with a lot of these balancers. So I don't know exactly what system I'm going to use those. I have several ways that we can use them, right? Definitely on 6S doesn't quite work, so I want to work on some scheme where I make a 7 group of batteries and then I can add them so we can keep them as a 7S and we can use them with regular 24-volt inverters. As of that, yeah, I'm also testing some of these, like, you know, BMSs that are coming out of China and stuff to see if they're any good. This one's supposed to handle 320 amps, and this one goes all the way to 16S, from 3S to 16S. So, yeah. What's the max battery capacity for your board system? There isn't any. I mean, you can put in there the highest capacity 18650 cells that you can find, which is about 3400 milliamp hours. 35, I think, something like that. Well, actually, I do have those 3600 milliamp hours, right? But only if you go really slow. Which I think I might get rid of. I might sell them to you guys, whoever wants to buy them. Because I think I'd rather have all the cells be the same on my bus. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. It's still going around in my head there. So how are you helping the Grand Bahama? We don't know. If you have any ideas, let us know. We're trying to... I thought that we would discuss some ways that we can help them. I know once the major destruction happens, rebuilding, we can help. We can send equipment. We can send, emergency power devices, right? So that people can have light and people that have communication and people can have those stuff, right? But as of right now, we're still in the middle, right? So it's a good time to start thinking about that, because it's probably not going to be the only place that is going to be affected and is going to need help, right? So the mainland also. Maybe Florida, maybe, some other states. Grid tie doesn't work without the grid. Usually doesn't. What people like to claim is that what if one of these devices is malfunctioning and it stays on? Perfectly fine concern, right? But if one of these devices stays on while the grid goes down, then immediately gets killed because the entire grid load becomes the load of this tiny little inverter. Even if you have an array of like 20 of these things in your house, it's still not going to be able to feed back enough to keep the grid up, right? And so therefore it's going to die. So if it stays on, it's going to die. If it turns off like it's supposed to, then it's going to preserve itself. So it's kind of a non-argument. It's kind of a non-valid argument in my eyes, right? I mean, if anyone else has a, a scenario that they can, that they can, what's the word there? Yeah, I don't know. That then you can prepare and show me, then maybe, But as of right now, every scenario in my head is like, okay, there's no problem there. I have something that may help you with your building of the battery single cells. I would like to make single cell packs that are 48 volts. Single cell packs that are 48 volts. All right. How does that work? Single cells, most chemistries are not 48 volts. They're usually low. I think I figured a way, and I would only cost very little. Yeah, do share more with us, because I don't know what you're talking about there. I have trouble understanding. Could we not add a shutoff that turns off the inverter to make everyone happy? You could add this function if you want to be sure. Your option, your responsibility. It's already there. It's already built into every grid tie inverter. In fact, the grid tie inverters need the grid to be able to know what power to push. The way the grid tie inverters work is they take the power of the grid, and in order for that power to be able to push it back, what they do is they take that power and then they increase it by a volt or whatever, some percentage. There's some calculation that they use to be able to push, and for every tenth of a volt that you go up, then it takes an X amount of energy to be able to push up against, because the grid is pretty powerful. I mean, that's this giant thing, right? That is pushing energy this way. So in order to push energy back, right, you have to push with a lot of power. And so the way you do that is you increase the voltage by just slightly bit, right? So grid ties, if they're malfunctioning, if they're not taking the grid as a reference, then they're not going to be able to push power, right? So they're not going to be able to do their work. So by design, it can't happen. No matter how you swing it, it's a non-issue. It's an imaginary problem that is very unlikely to happen. It's like dying by a meteorite. It could happen, I guess. It's possible. Very unlikely. Very unlikely. I mean, meteorites do fall, right? I guess. They fall to the ground. Yes, he bought a house and now he's all legal and should be prosecuted. But he got so many problems with cops and drugs. How about that? So I unsubscribed to his channel just for that. RV to a house got some effects. Wait, what? Who are we talking about here? Who got prosecuted but got so many problems with cops and drugs? Huh? Who are we talking about here? I wanna know. Let me in the gossip. This whole tech grid tie does that. It shuts off when the grid goes down. Man, emits 130 times the CO of all the world's volcanoes combined. Take your denial crap elsewhere. This is not the place. Yeah, and the thing is, it's so hard to know what to believe, because there's both sides of the argument. Their arguments come with such conviction, right? And you're like, okay, how about you? And unless, at least, if for someone like me, I have very little education, right? So I never went to school. I never went to learn. All I can know is what I can test for myself, right? Like I like to think I have a very healthy dose of skepticism, right? I'm like, okay, so you're saying this is how the world works? And I'm like, okay, maybe, right? Oh, and you're saying it's the opposite. Okay, maybe. Let me see what I can see for myself and find out for myself, right? And so, yeah, I'm skeptic, right? I'm mostly skeptic to everything but what I see. And I know it's a weird thing to look at. Hey, no growling. Stop growling. But I think everyone should kind of use some critical thinking like that, right? I think you just shouldn't believe people because you want to. It's like in some things it's okay, I think, right? But you should be open to the fact that maybe it's not, right? Like people, there's okay. Elvis Presley. Did Elvis Presley ever exist? I don't know. I never saw him. I never heard him. But I know a lot of people who believe so, right? So you're like, most likely it's true. He existed. He was a real person. There's music there. There's footage. There's pictures, right? Like, is it possible that he never existed? It's possible that he's a fabrication, right? I've only seen it through the media, through whatever, through this and that, right? So you should be open to that possibility that maybe you're being lied to. Maybe it's a big hoax or whatever. But you should also realize that it's maybe a huge, that it's a highly impossible thing, right? That it's very hard for that to happen, right? The moon landing, is it possible that it was fake? Very possible. It's very possible. People that say that they didn't have technology, that it's impossible, that's not true. It is very possible. You could lie. They can compartmentalize things and only people know and people are not paying attention and the thing or whatever. It's possible. Is it likely? Very unlikely. I think we went. Why would we not go? Why do we fake it? I mean, there are compelling reasons why we want to fake something like that, right? If you couldn't do it or whatever. But no, I've seen the machines. I've seen the thing. There are compelling reasons which lead me to believe that we went or whatever, right? But the same thing with this stuff. You gotta figure out why you believe what you're gonna believe, not just because you read it somewhere, right? It's kind of a weird thing. Yes, they can be charging over 60 hertz. I use 400 amp contactors. They're used to switch three-phase 100 horsepower induction motors. Yeah, I have those in my Samba. They're big and yeah, those work. I've welded those. You could do it. No offense, but whoever said this probably has no idea about how electricity works, and if you're push 1,000 watts into the grid, chances are the inverter is going to shut down anyway from overload. Yeah, it's very likely that it's not gonna be able to handle the huge load that the grid is there, right? Have you done any vehicle to grid setups? Any vehicle to grid? No. So no, I haven't. It's kind of requires kind of specialized equipment. I mean, and nothing too special, but it's not off the shelf, right? Because you're talking about usually my bus you could probably do it. Well, no, you can because all the equipment it's made for low voltage DC, and on our electric cars we have high voltage DC, right? So we have, I have 111 volts nominal, but the norm is now 350 volts nominal, right? So you'd have to get some big DC to DC converter to go to DC to AC, right? From 400 volts or 300 volts down to 100 or 240 or something. They're doing split phase or whatever. So it just doesn't exist. It's not like you can order it online. So you'd have to design it, right? From scratch kind of thing. Or you have to modify something that's out there. It's a bit out of my league, I think, at this point, right? My personal, skill set or whatever. What are we doing for the Bahamas? What are we doing for the Bahamas? Do we know anyone that lives there? Yeah, put your ideas, guy. I want to see what we can come up with. Big Johnson Media, your off-grid inverter becomes the grid as long as it works with the grid. Inverter should sync. I think, I think I probably could go, but not without having a plan to go and help someone. I'm not just gonna go, just to figure it out. Thanks. I thought it would, let's see. NASA just had a report showing Earth foliage has increased the size of 2x the size of the US over the last 30 years using satellite data. I think that is happening in some places, right? You certainly, all you have to do is get on a drone, for example, right? I have my drones that I fly here in California, and I've spent quite a bit of time just thinking about what my neighborhood, what this valley would look like, you know, if we were to go 100 years ago. And I mean, it's very easy to see. All we have to do is go and look at the places where we haven't developed. And I'm like, okay, so they call it chaparral, right? It's like these bushy, like dried up bushes growing up, and there's not much vegetation, right? But, you know, when you start flying over these populated areas, you're like, holy crap, there's a lot of trees. You know, it's not just concrete jungle, right, that we're bringing into this, you know, places that we're developing, but we're also putting a bunch of trees, and there are quite a lot of them, right? Like if you go and you fly above and then you look at, I mean, this just, you see all the treetops. Hey, no barking. Oh God, these guys. No barking. So there's definitely, I think, in some places that we are increasing the amount of trees that we have, right? Yeah. Also, there's the world's deserts are growing, also, right? So I mean, so there is also true. I think overall, hey, no barking. I think we need to be on the positive side more so than the negative side. Sorry. Hey, no crying. Come on. I have found some 100 amp LiFePo 4 for $350 from China. Is there a way I can contact you to run it by you? No, I mean, I don't really know if they're any good. You'll have to take the chance and order them, because I don't know. I haven't ordered them. All I know is the ones that I've tested, right? And I've tested, you know, some that are good are these, but they're kind of expensive. You know, I can vouch for these. These were sent to me and I tested them, and these are very high energy dense, right? This is 100 amp hours, 4 cells, right? So this is what, 1.2 kilowatt hours, and it's tiny and it's light. They did get kind of warm when I was trying to get more than what. I was trying to get more, I don't know, you'll have to see the video. I made a video, but they did kind of got warm because I was pushing them kind of hard. But yeah, if you need to order some of those, like, you could order those are proven good quality cells that I tested myself here. Those other ones that you're referring to, I don't know. You gotta take the you know, you gotta take the gamble. The best way to help the planet is to reducing the population. Yeah, but that's very unlikely to happen. Everyone, for some reason, they think they need to replace themselves, right? Why is it that more people... Well, actually, no, that's not true. Population is declining in a lot of the developing countries, I think including the U.S. So, yeah, it's slowly starting to happen. But, you know, all the developing countries they're picking up where we left off. They need lights and shower. Well, shelter, I think. They're gonna need shelter because a lot of the stuff was destroyed, right? Portable cooking equipment. Yeah, probably they're gonna need... Question. My grid tie inverter into 110 volts. Getting about 250 watts. Will I save electricity? Well, you will save 250 watts if you're putting 250 watts into the grid. And if you're using more than that, right? That's the key right there. How much for 1500 18650s? The LGs? It depends. Depends where you buy them, and you know how much the price and what version of them. There's a lot of them. I have to order the YouTube kid, the YouTube kid. Wait, what? I have to order 450 watt power supply tonight. What voltage? What do you have to order? The Elvis and the Torch Elvis. Not denying the climate is changing, just think the core and the hydrocarbons matter. You're saying the laws of conservation then apply to the geological internal makeup of the hydrocarbons and the core. Whoa, that's too advanced for me to understand what you're trying to say there. So check the prices on EV West. You can get an idea for what it will cost you for 50. Oh yeah, by the way. Well, no, you could probably. So the NCRs are like $2.75 each, which is really low. I think it's equivalent to what maybe you can get in China and stuff, right? But the China ones are, it's a gamble because you don't know the real or not. The EV West ones are proven real. We got them from, a company that ordered them directly from Panasonic, right? And so those are legit cells. The only things you have to buy them in big boxes and you have to do the thing. But it's a great deal, I think. $2.75 a cell for 3,200 milliamp hour. Is that what they are? I think so. Ooh, 177. Climate change works that way. Deserts will become forests, and forests will become deserts. I hope so. I hope we're always on the better side of that thing, and not on the. I think that's a good argument that things are ever changing, right? And so, maybe if we were able to live in all these coastal areas, maybe that's not going to be the thing, right? I mean, remember, sometimes some of the mountaintops used to be under the water, right? So now we can live in those mountaintops where before we couldn't because they were underneath. But the thing is, I think people are they tend to freak out when it's gonna be inconvenient for them, right? So, if you just bought some expensive property in some expensive beach town, and all of a sudden you're gonna have to move, in the next few years because the water keeps coming up, and it's not gonna, it's gonna add to your stress level a little bit, I think. Melting permafrost releases methane and CO2, and soil bacteria reactivate to release more. Well, that's true. Yeah, that is true. There is a lot of methane stuck or whatever. What is it? Frozen underneath all that ice up there? Yeah, that's true. Volcanoes regurgitate magma that was previously subducted from the tectonic plates that may contain carbonate and hydrocarbons. This is second or third line organics. Yeah, and it is a sight to see. I saw it in Hawaii when we were there a few years ago. It's pretty cool. The best way to help the planet is to buy a Tesla. I mean, I don't know if that's the best way, but it is one way to at least, do your part, I think, right? But you see, here's the thing. If you're going to buy your Tesla, keep your Tesla. Plan to drive it for a long time so that, because it only makes sense like that, right? Like, where the other cars, they have the carbon footprint. They all have them, right? And electrics, I guess, have them higher than the regular ones. But in the lifetime of because you're not using as much at the pump or in the fuel side of things, then but it only is going to make sense if you keep that car. If you just change it and keep getting a new one or whatever, then maybe not as much. Let's see here. What was the battery that you showed and would replace two Group 27 lead acid batteries from RB? I don't know about the lead acid because I don't know anything about lead acid, but this is a lead acid voltage and this is 100 amp hours. And oh, look at my kit.com. So kit.com/Jehu, and then go to sell lithium sources, I think it's called, and they're in there. But these are called orientpower.asia, and they're available like in Amazon, and they're available on their own website too. And I have links to those in that kit in my kit.com. Remember the large earthquakes that we have that cause an Earth shift its axis? Best way to help the planet is to not have any car at all and use solar power e-bike and stop eating beef. Now that's, I can't argue there. Maybe not having a car, or maybe not using a car. So here's another thing that you can do, right? Like, there's a lot of people that commute every day to work, right? And I get it. It's needed, right? You need to commute because sometimes you live here and you work here, and you can't make those two, closer. You can't bring those two closer together. Or can you? Can you? I don't know. I mean, not everyone can do it, but I think many probably can. And there's many reasons to do it, right? Like when you're driving, that's wasted time. You're not doing anything. You're just growing older. It's a total waste of time. And time, it's a thing that you're never getting back. It's a thing that it's short, right? And we only get it once, and once it's gone, you never get it back. Why would you want to spend it commuting every day? Unless you enjoy it or something, right? If you're gonna do something and enjoy it for the joy of it, then you do it. But I think people that commute like half hour or an hour to work, I think they're crazy. I think they're not investing wisely in their time, right? And so I kind of saw that really early on because I was commuting quite a bit, and I was like, screw this. I don't want to live my life in the freeway. Like, this is ridiculous. So then I started changing my life so that I didn't have to commute, right? And I know not everyone can do it, but I think some people can do it. I think a lot of us would do it, and it's a really good thing because then you could have a car. Like my car sits there. I have an old car that already paid for itself, the carbon footprint, because it's been around for 60 years, right? So by me getting that car, I didn't add more carbon, into the atmosphere because that thing's already added, this is, back in the 50s. Then I made it electric, right? So it's not adding as much as combustion cars. And I don't commute every day. I literally work from home, right? Or I work, I used to have an office that was down the street. So I'm not driving. My total mileage that I add in order to go to work, right? It's reduced, Probably in the last 10 years is less than what I used to do 1 year back in the 90s when I was working, right, as a carpenter. So I know it's a weird thing, but I think some people can do it. I think you guys can do it. I mean, out of the 187 here, I bet you more than the average, than the general population will be able to do it. Because you guys are like DIY, right? If you're watching this, there's no regular people here. There's not like not makers or tinkers watching me talk about this nonsense, right? You guys are the breed. You guys are the kind of people that would set your mind to a thing like that and be like, you know what? I'm going to set my mind to not drive as much, to find out how to not commute, because that's just wasted time. And it pollutes and all that other nonsense that goes with it, right? So you should have that goal to not commute or shorten your commute by 50%. Or, man, it should be to zero. It should be like me. Although there are it's not all peachy, right? Like, it's weird. I live at home. I kind of live at home. It's like I work at home and I live at home. So I'm always working. and I could almost never get anything done because there's always the dogs are here and my parents and the wife, and so I could never really step away and like just think about the thing for, you know, a few hours at a time, because, you know, every 20 minutes someone needs my attention for something, right? So it's not ideal, but I'm not complaining. Right? Where I'd rather have this challenges here at home or have to commute, you know, half hour or an hour to work every day. Yeah, I take this challenges any day of the week. You need to make hurricane-proof homes. I don't know if those exist, because you see that water was like 10 feet high or something. Well, I mean, they do it. They put houses on stilts, right? 24 volt per 150 watt power supply for a Creality CR10 S5 3D printer. Got a touch screen and 32-bit processor, upgrade for 2. Oh, yeah, get one of those 24 volts. Look, get one of these ones. Oh, wait a minute. Is this it? Yeah, these are really good. Well, I don't know if they're good. I'm testing these. So I don't know if they're like really good. But they're cheap. They're like, I don't know, less than $100. And you can get the 1,000-watt versions. I think they go down to like 800-watt versions. This one is 1,000 watts. 24 volts, and you can adjust the voltage here, which is cool. We need them to charge batteries and stuff, right? Yeah, these are an AliExpress. I don't know if I've linked these. Have I linked these in, yeah, search for this thing on Ali. I don't know if it's gonna adjust. But Velica S-1000-24, right? Power supplies. These are pretty cool. You can buy one of those. You should order one of those and then try it. If you only need 480 or 450 watts, you know, like an 800 watt of these one should be able to do it. And I think you can get those for like $60 or something. Can you charge your EV at charge spots? How to set it up? Yeah, it's got the little, yeah, J1772, which is the standard level 2 charging port. Let's see here. Woo! It just jumped. The nearest Tesla quick charge costs $28. Woo! Just drive your neighbor's car, then you're not the one polluting. That's what. Well, that is actually a good thing. Yes, you should pull, right? You should carpool, right? That's because why do we, like, especially us here in California, we're all driving these giant 3,000-pound vehicles just to go to the store and to go to work, like, you know, and we're all going to LA. But we all need our own special car because we're, you know, we can't be bothered, right? It's a weird thing. Let's see here. I have AutoCAD plans made for 18650s. To make snap-on trays 3D printed for a price of some plastic and a little metal tab. Roll, anyone want to work on this with me? Says Clarence. Yeah, post on the Facebook group, Jehu's Power Walls, the DIY Power Walls group. There's a few people that are doing something similar to that, so you might be able to find some collaboration there. Yeah, there are some that are decent. There are some that are not so decent when it comes to the things that are happening there. Yeah, but you should check in there to see what's already in the works and stuff. 3D printer power supplies do the trick and are cheap. There you go. Then that one works. He says that's a good power supply there. Let's see. I don't go to LA, says Terry. I really do hope VW goes big time into electric vehicles. I hope so too, but they're kind of disappointing in every way you look at them. Chris is sending me. Can get a cheap used electric car, then add any high grade battery mod to it. In theory you can, but it turns out to be kind of hard to do that because it's more like a computer, right? So you have to know how to like crack the code, and you know, so it's not, you gotta have a lot of skills to be able to do that, right? Unless you can piggyback off of like a group effort, right? So like if it's like the Teslas, right? They're popular cars, and a lot of people are trying to figure things out, right? So it's a collective group that is figuring things out is great. But if you're gonna use some car that not a lot of people like, and you know, then you're gonna have to do everything yourself, and if you don't have all the skill set, it's gonna cost you tons of money because you're gonna have to work out and stuff, right? So it's definitely, it's not as easy as it can be, right? You're talking about computers on wheels, and if you're really good at computers, then you can figure that part out, and then the fabbing and the engineering could be sub out because that's more like a general, you know, skill set that a lot of people could have. But yeah, it's definitely doable. Doug, I built homes in Florida. It blew down 2 times before I was able to close it up. What? How about empty battery? 12 cases. Do you know where I can get any? The boxes? Yeah, look at my video that I have linked down below on this exact video, and I have that project where I put that battery in the case, and I have links to where I bought that battery, the box. Yeah, so click on that video, and then you know you can get it there or whatever. I never met a poor climate change scientist. You know, that is true. It's such a weird thing to be a scientist and to make money off of your science, right? Because then it's kind of tainted. Yeah, it's a weird thing to have that. To have industry, you know, to have industry fund science. Because obviously industry's got one job, and that is to make money. And so now, I think it's tainted. I think it taints science, right? It puts a bias on it, right? So you have to be careful. But like anything in life, everyone has to make money. So you're like, well, scientists have to live, have bills too, you know? So it's weird. But you should have that healthy amount of skepticism. Because, you know, some scientists might just want to get by, right? But some scientists might want to make bank, might want to like make more money. There's nothing wrong with it, except that if it taints your product, right? Then maybe it's not so clean. Maybe it's compromise, right? I don't know. So far, there are no EV trucks to tow 25,000 pounds for anywhere near a practical distance. So EV is out for me for now. Yeah, I think that's a small section. It's a small market, I think. And it's a particularly challenging task to do with the current technology. So Yeah, I think eventually we'll get there. I think with battery prices going down, and I mean the torque problem is no problem, right? You could put, one of these Tesla motors in a truck and put a couple of gears on there, and you could tow whatever you want. It's just, yeah, it's the efficiency goes out the door, and so you're gonna need big giant batteries, which are expensive still. So, hey, it'll come. It's just not there yet. It has to hit like the low hanging fruit first, which is the the low hanging fruit of that is the luxury sedans, I think, marketplace. Wonder if I'm getting my solar panels this week. I want to make a power wall that is going to run at night. I'm a crypto miner, so 24/7 activity, 1200 watt. What cells would be best for that? Any of them. Any of them would be, except if you're running full cycles every night. I'd say, yeah, you probably would want to get some, and if you plan on doing it for, years, and you're gonna invest a lot of money, maybe you should invest in lithium iron phosphate, right? Because then those have the cycle life that you probably want. Yeah, probably, yeah, for something that's gonna run like full cycle every night, and it just needs to be reliable and needs to then you might want to look into that. And they're easy to put together, to make into things. How big is your system? 1200 watts? 1200 watts. I mean, that's not a lot, but it adds up at the end of the day. So that means you're gonna have to have a big battery. How long will it take a 10 amp charger to charge two 240 amp hour batteries from 20% to 100%? Oh my god. Anyone want to tackle that one? That sounds like an algebra problem. I never took algebra, so I don't know. Or is that just a regular math? I don't know. I never took math. I'm a high school dropout, guys. Don't be asking me technical questions like that. Let's make a plane. Human race is a plague that is exterminating itself slowly. That is true. I see it. Don't birds trade shiny objects for mates? I have seen many poor climate change scientists. They are old, wrinkly, and work in Antarctica. There you go. Wondering if... okay, so that I already read that one. EV motor has more torque than diesel, just not for very long. Yeah, you need a lot of batteries. No, I think the problem is that, fossil fuels have so much energy in them. It's crazy. Like, you can get a little gallon of fuel and you have, 33 kilowatt hours worth of energy there. So definitely it's a lot of energy in there. By the way, that's my dad. He decided to come in here and sit down here. You people always go at home when you lose an argument. It's like human nature to just attack each other, I guess. Two scientists were hired by Philip and Morris to try to disprove that smoking causes cancer. Same two scientists were hired by Exxon to try to disprove climate change. Follow the money. Yeah, no, I mean, it's no, I mean, come on, people are corrupt, no matter what industry you work on. So to think that scientists is devoid of any corruption, that's naive, right? You're gonna have some of those, Not all scientists. Yeah, definitely, but skepticism again. Our species has something called gold fever. yeah, what is it? I think we all try to be better than everyone else. Yeah, we all want to stand out. We all want to drive a better car than the rest of us. We want to have the biggest house than the rest of us. We want to have more money in the bank. We want to have more assets, you know, more freedom, more everything, right? I think that's what it is. I think we're not content with just being like everyone else, like the norm. I think it's kind of a comes down. Like, it's crazy, like that dude, that Koch brother, you know, the one that died, you know, he fought to the very end to like make all those billions, and then like what did he take, you know? How good were they to him? Like, he died like everyone else. He, you know, he ended up in the same place. It's kind of weird. Was it all worth it? Was it all worth it fighting for those ideals to make money, you know, and to like maybe not, you know, do the best thing for the planet? Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of weird. You'd think that people will eventually realize, but not everyone will. You know, some people are just always gonna see the world one way, and they're not gonna ever change, which is kind of crazy. If humans knew what they were doing, there wouldn't be a need for experiments, so we wouldn't need scientists. We would be a lot farther ahead if LEDs were invented in early electricity. Yeah. They need houseboats. Slade 420 says they need houseboats. So that island, right? Grand Bahama. So there's 50,000 people there. So there's going to be quite a bit of them that are going to need. Like, this is going to be a big effort. Maybe not as big as Puerto Rico, maybe, right? But, yeah, it's going to be crazy. Lobbying is legalized corruption. I think in some ways, yeah, you might be right. Combustion engines are only 6% efficient, the rest is heat and room. That's true, but still, with 1 gallon of fuel, you can still get so much work done, because that fuel is pretty crazy. It's pretty energy dense. It's just amazing. Fossil fuels are amazing in that aspect. Well, Andy's saying this is why peer review exists, so corruption is extremely rare, as only evidence survives rigorous scrutiny by other scientists determined to find holes in the study. So that's true, but there's also some evidence that that proves that scientists usually don't work the same to disprove science as much as to prove science, because there's no money, right? The way they make money is when they prove. It's also, some of it is tied into headlines now, right? And to be able to write papers and to be able to prove and like move up in status and, you know, all these communities and stuff, and then, you know, then grants and the whole thing. So yeah, I saw a piece where they were like, where more scientists should be disproving some of these studies, right, that are done. It just doesn't happen enough because there's no financial incentive to do so. And so as a result, yeah, it is kind of tainted. It is a bit, all of it, you know. It's money kind of is in there, you know, and it's, I don't know what the fix for it is, but you got to remain open to the fact that, yeah, there might be, the results might be skewed one way or another one, and if it's profitable for someone, that might be enough reason to skew it one way or the other. Modern engines are just now pushing 40% efficiency now. That Boston Dynamics stuff only get better. That's kind of scary. For everyone, you should look into long-range freestyle drone motors. And batteries. The hobby could really use the input of a brain like yours. Wait, long range freestyle drone motors and batteries? That's a thing? It exists? So it's not to go fast, it's not like the racing drone scene. It's just like long. They go, wow, that's crazy. Let's see. Look at fusion research. It's like 95% of the money being sent to one project. Interests are created. Huh. Let's see. Okay, I'm throwing away all the batteries I have in the gallon of premium unleaded, says Herbert Horner. I mean, they're all batteries are almost a joke when you compare them to fossil fuels. If fossil fuels weren't so harming to our health, to the planet's health, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why society, evolves so fast when we discover them. Think of all the energy that was consumed before the LED technology. The energy generated enormous amounts. If you charge your Tesla with solar panels, then the combustion engine looks kinda not so pretty. Wait, no, but the combustion engine doesn't look pretty no matter how you look at it, right? I mean, 40% efficiency is pretty bad. I mean, 100 years evolution, and you can't get past not even 50%? Come on. I think what's amazing is the fossil fuels, right? Like diesel and gasoline and rocket fuel. I mean, that stuff is pretty amazing. That combustion engine's not that bad. California is a pretty big state. I was born here 65 years ago, and I'm closer to Salt Lake City than I am to LA, closer to Portland than San Diego. It's a big world. Salty Pirate Dan says. Wait, so you were born in California and then you moved out? Yeah, relays on drone. My plan was to drop relays off drones and keep position. Will a van alternator charge my two 240 amp hour batteries I installed to run my 1200 watt 4 amp split unit AC, or should I install two 250 watt solar panels on top of the van? Well, it depends. Yeah, any alternator should be able to charge any battery. It's just a matter of how fast, what time frame you want to charge them. I guess also if you're running your AC unit, let's say that if you want to run your AC unit continuously while you're driving, maybe that's what you're asking. Yeah, it's possible. It's just those are the variables there that you're gonna need to figure out. How long do you want to run that alternator to charge that battery? And there's an answer for that, I'm sure, in there. I don't know if I have enough info there to be able to work that out, but yeah, that's the question that you should be asking yourself. Are Model 3 packs being used for power walls, etc.? Heard they are difficult to deal with. Well, not yet. They're long, 75-inch long things. They're 23S and 25S, which is about 90 volt nominal and 95 volt nominal, something like that. So they're weird voltages that are kind of high. Yeah, I don't think anyone's using them. Again, we're gonna have to develop some kind of specialized equipment to handle that high of a DC voltage to be able to use the storage. Or we're gonna have to figure out how to cut those modules, right, to use them, because right now they're so long. If you cut them in half, then you're dealing with about half the voltage. You're talking about 50 volts, which is closer to the 48 volt standard that we have. So maybe that's going to be the way to go. I think for cars, they're going to be really hard to use because of the length also, right? So there's going to be a small number of vehicles that we're going to be able to use them. And the rest of them, we're going to have to cut them. We're going to have to figure out how to cut them. There's no way to fit that. You're not going to modify, highly modify these cars to be able to put them in there, right? So if we want to use them, and there's going to be so many of them, so I think it's worth figuring out. Even if it's hard, even if we have to, like, manufacture, like come up with some specialized tools that automated, like some CNC thing that goes and cuts in between the cells and make sure it doesn't short the thing, and does it in a clean way, and then I don't know. We're gonna have to figure it out. I think I'm just gonna order one and just play with it and just try to do it myself, do one as a proof of concept, and then because it's worth it. I think it's one of these things that see the writing on the wall, right? Those packs are coming. They're coming. There's people are, starting to put them in their warehouses, and they're starting to appear on eBay and stuff. But yeah, definitely we need to figure it out. Hemp-based graphene variants allow for more surface area density of electrons. There you go. Hemp-based batteries. I'm all for that. I don't smoke, but I did try CBD. I tried CBD the other day. I don't know if it's real. It's unregulated, so again, you don't know what you're getting. You might just be getting like holy water, thinking that it's CBD. So I haven't really know if I felt the effects of CBD, but I've tried it. I bought a little thing, and then yeah. I gotta try the real stuff though. Although, I bought it from someone who smokes weed all the time, and they say it's real. Maybe it is real. Maybe I'm immune to the, I don't know. That's weird. We should all just go communistic and grow rice and beans. Problem solved. No commute required. Hell, get up to go to bed with the chickens. And you're still eating meat? No electric needed. I mean, it's not the worst idea I've heard. Do you charge your Tesla by the grid or using your Powerwall? No, so it's hard to charge a Tesla with the Powerwall. It's I got at this point I got about 150 kilowatt hours of battery in my cars, but I only have little Powerwalls. Even when I had 22 kilowatts here, which I don't anymore, I took them off and then I bought the other battery, and I'm eventually gonna put it there, but it's a work in progress. Yeah, there's not enough battery in the world. I would need more than that, at least 150 kilowatt hours in my wall to be able to charge my cars. Yeah, so I'm using the grid. The grid is great. At night it's cheap. Even here in California, it's cheap, 11 cents. So that's what I'm using currently. I'm hacking. I'm using what's there available to my advantage, and then I'm trying to, hack my way so I don't have to pay so much when it's really expensive. That's when I don't want to buy electricity. He's groovy? Oh, Rubber Smith. Murray Smith, is that what you're saying? Anyone need panels for $90 shipped? MPPT charger midnight 250, new price for only people here and not offer anywhere else. There you go. Clarence is selling some stuff. There's a guy that has lots of stuff with Tesla batteries. He has a power safe Jack. I know Jack. Me and Jack go back a few years way back. Yeah, we don't like each other. I work out of a van, so I need to be able to have everything run for 8 hours at a time. If turn off, is the 240 amp hour batteries enough for that? Oh, well, that's easy to figure out. I mean, it's easy to figure out how much battery you have. You're gonna have to figure out how much energy you use. That is gonna be the hard one. 240 amp hours. If they're lead acid, you don't have 240 amp hour batteries. Well, maybe they're deep cycle, right? But 240 times 2, that's going to be 480 amp hours. That's at 12 volts, right? Because they're probably lead acid. So you have about 5.7 kilowatt hours. But you don't really have that because lead acid you can't use. So you can use 50% of that supposedly, right? I don't know if that's the same. If that's the same for like deep cycle. Again, I don't know much about lead acid. I've never used them. Very little interest in them. All I know is that they're not as good as the lithium. But let's say that you only have half of that. So you have, let's say 3 kilowatt hours, right? And if you wanted to run that for what would you say? How long? I work at that, so I need to everything around 8 hours. So if you want to divide, let's try that. That means that you would have to use about 375 watts of continuous power per hour. So if you use more than that, then you need a bigger battery. If you use less than that, then yours should be good. So how do you figure that out? You have to go and add up all your, what I would do is just I would get some kind of meter, right? Get one of these little things that we get, What's up, boy? Yeah, one of these guys. I have them linked on my thing over there. They're like these little drogue meters or whatever, and then you put that in your battery, and you just go through an 8-hour day, and then, or a couple of them or whatever, then you write how much energy was used in amp hours or in watt hours or whatever, and then you'll know how much energy you're using per day, right? Maybe you do it for a week, and then you average out all the days, and you're like, okay, I use 10 kilowatt hours during the day, and then now you know that you need, 20% more than that. So, 12 kilowatt hours or something, right? So you would need more battery subsidy. Right now you have probably about 3 usable, but like 5.5 or something like that. I think that's what I came up with. With lithium iron phosphate, you can use 100% of it, and it's not as damaging for these as it is for the lead acid to use 100% of the power. I'm a big fan. I live in the EI, Corona, Inland Empire, studying engineering. I would like to volunteer as your apprentice with your DIY electrification battery projects. Victor, I think I need some help from time to time. Send me an email, jhoodjack35. Forever I've been turning people away, right? And then sometimes I'm like, oh man, if I had someone to help me, it would work so much better. And then I'm like, I don't remember anyone who's reached out to me. But yeah, maybe I'm start looking into it. And yeah, maybe we can have you over. If you're close by me, then it works, because then we could just do like a little project first and see if we work good together, kind of thing. And it could be like a kind of a gradual thing. We could if you're like from some other state, then you have to come in here, and then it's kind of a weird thing, right? But definitely, we can figure it out. We can try it for later or whenever you have time to meet around the hobby project. YouTube search Street Mountain Surfing Cola FPV. Just trying to tempt you into it. Oh, that's for the thing. For the long range things. 8,500. Really? I thought it was the biggest show in the USA. That's what they're claiming. 8,500 plus attendees. I don't know. You guys saw that video that we made about the EV show last year, right? I don't know. I don't know if it was big enough and interesting enough for me to go. It was mostly just, I don't know. It wasn't that big from what Tom told me. We did a live thing. Oh, I think I made that private or unlisted. That's why he can't see it. Okay, all right. Power Save 100. The Power Save 100. Yeah, that's Jack Ricker there. Most all industries do in fact employ their own scientists. That's true. That's true. And who's gonna turn in a report that says that your employer is doing what they don't want to be told they're doing? That's a weird thing. Would that be correct saying using a relay? This would be for unlimited distance for drones. Dropping something that the drone would use to find its way back. Oh, a relay? So that's like a point? Like you would drop like a little thing that... What? I don't understand that. You're gonna have to explain that to me. It's legal beagle in Canada. Worth subscribing, but watch at 1.5%. Try THCs. Oh, THCs, not CBDs. But THCs is the thing that gets you high, right? Is that what it is? Is that what you're trying to get me high? Is that what it is? So somewhere for Class A RV and boats, they sell 400 amp hour LiFePO4 batteries, but very pricey. Yes, so definitely, yeah, they can be pricey, lithium iron phosphate cells, because they last a long time, but they're definitely, you know what, there's definitely batteries coming. There's definitely a lot of batteries coming, so the prices are going to go down. And I just thought about this. There's a lot of lithium iron phosphate batteries coming from a couple of my sources. Yeah, I can't say more than that. But yeah, definitely stay tuned. I mean, I would say, if you need a battery right now, don't hold off. But if you can wait, maybe you would wait. I don't know. There's good batteries available right now. I mean, batteryhookups.com. Go check him out there. He's got a lot of batteries right now that are good. And we're about to start making our own they're kits. We're selling kits, I think, because we don't want to. Yeah, but it's a thing. We're like a metal caster. It's an ammo battery. I think that's what he's calling it. And then we're gonna give you all the little things so that you can put it together. Screw it together, and then drop it in this thing, close it, and then you have like a nice box that's metal, fireproof, and it's got 12 volts or 40 or 24 volts. I think like 24 volts or 12 volts. So that's also coming. There's so much stuff coming down the road that is gonna be crazy for you guys. In reality, these are all but as polluting as gas cars. The end users just not seeing it. You pay too. I don't know if that's true. I refuse to believe that, because the cars. Here's the thing about gas cars: they never stop polluting, and there is no way to ever stop polluting unless you stop driving it, right? Each gallon of gasoline takes about 7. This is some estimates. About 7 kilowatt hours of energy to refine that. Right, into 1 gallon of gasoline. So with that 7 kilowatt hours of electricity, you could. Oh yeah, why am I blurry? Am I blurry? Let's tackle this again. Oh my god. Background is focus. Okay. Oh, I see. Let's fix this. Oh, there we go. How come no one told me? I'm getting text messages. Yeah. So, also transmission is also a real thing. Transmission losses, right? But here's the thing. You could just put solar panels on your roof, and you could mostly produce or partially produce. And as the grids get cleaner, then it's cleaner, right? So at the very least, it's possible to run that car free of the initial, free of more than the initial carbon, amount that was made to manufacture that car. Where gas cars, they can never do that. You have to create carbon emissions to be able to run it, because you have to burn some kind of fuel, right? That releases carbon into the atmosphere. So that argument, it's not a valid one, because there are ways to do it cleaner. An electric vehicle, there is no way to. That's it. Combustion engine cars. That's it. They did their thing. They're on their way out. They're not gonna get any cleaner. They're just gonna stay. That's it. That's 100 years of that technology and mature. This is it. Like, it's not gonna get any better than that. Maybe not because of technological limits. I think it's just because of greed, right? Like, there are definitely a lot of people that have claimed that they've seen cars or some other technologies that could have run cleaner and, with less pollution and stuff, or more efficiency. You can get more miles per gallon of gasoline, right? But obviously they never become mainstream because someone has either shelved the technology or, I don't know. There's a lot of kooky stories about all that stuff. There's a lot of conspiracy theories, but a lot of them are true. They have to be, just statistically speaking. So, yeah, electric cars are the future, no matter how you slice it. And there are ways to run them cleaner, so I think that's why I'm for them, and I'm excited for that. And it's a much better experience too. So no matter what angle you look at them, I'm down with electric vehicles. As you should too. I mean, whatever. You're free to do whatever you want, but But if you're here, you're watching this because you kind of like batteries and do the thing or whatever. Carlos Rodriguez says, I send the nation without question. Ooh, where? Who? Oh, to here. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for sending the donations. The BMS has to be like 14S because it measures the difference between the cells in series. It only have one common negative connection. With videos, not in a mean way. What are you saying, Albert Huron? Definitely could use help with videos. Yeah, I mean, I want to make more videos, definitely, and I need to find some help. I bought 16 LiPo4 cells for less cost than 2 deep cycle batteries. This is about the equivalent amp hours. Whoa, where'd you find 16 LiPo4 cells for that much? They're usually expensive. Did you get them secondhand? I guess you can get them secondhand too. I'd like to schedule a consultation with you to build solar generator for my house in Orlando, Florida. Orlando, Florida. Yeah, send me an email. Carlos, jehu@jack35 will schedule one. I don't do those anymore just because I don't have time anymore, unfortunately, to just offer them regularly and stuff. But yeah, I'm having too many projects, too many personal projects now. I have to. The weird thing is that everything changes, and everything is ever changing. And if you don't stay ahead of the thing, then you're in trouble, right? So I'm investing right now a lot of time developing projects for the future that I want to see them, right? I know they're not like so immediate. Like a lot of these projects that I'm doing, I'm like, I just need to do this one thing so I can get my point across, and I can make a video and then share the ideas or the thing or whatever. But I think I'm gonna need more than that. I'm gonna have, like, every YouTuber, for example, right? This is the thing that I think about is like, this thing could go away any day. Of course, I put enough work and I have enough invested in here that it's gonna keep going for a little while. But if I don't keep innovating, everyone is now talking about batteries. There's all these people now that are like doing the same thing that I'm doing, and testing equipment, installing little things, testing batteries, right? I'm not the only one that is doing this anymore, right? And so if I want to keep being, relevant or whatever, then I need to keep always moving forward, right? It also it's not as fun anymore, right? When I'm competing with a bunch of people and stuff. So I'm kind of investing for the future to cool projects, to do the thing, to help the channel to keep growing and to do the thing, But yeah, it's their bigger projects, so they take a little bit longer to do the thing. So I don't have as much time to just sit around and talk to have one-on-one with a lot of people. And there's plenty of people that are asking that, right? So I kind of have to say mostly no. But send me an email, and I'll make time for you. Okay, so Tesla battery would be way better than is what you guys are telling me. A 233 amp hour battery, if you have 8 of them in series using approximately 10 amps or so, found that you can only get about 8 hours out of them, and that's golf cart, and that's even good ones. Great, thanks, I'll email you. I look forward to helping out. Okay, whoa, just changed. Okay, so just run. Jehu, I have watched many of your videos. You are the man, thank you. When will you be selling your Powerwall units? So probably never. That's not my interest to manufacture a thing and sell it. There's so much work that has to go into that. If you build a project, if you build a product, then you have to invest a lot of time in submitting it to the right authorities and the right regulatory, whatever agency, so that you can get it. A lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of investment. And I'm kind of a hack. I'm a DIY kind of guy. I'd like to keep things light. I don't want to have a big company with a lot of employees. That's not my dream anymore. It used to be. At one point, I wanted to have a big company. Now I'm like, I want to have a little thing that I can do, that I can keep, that I can keep kind of control, and it's not wasting a lot of stuff, but but it's meaningful, and I can help people, and I want to use my time wisely, because I want to do less of the things that I don't enjoy doing and more of the things that I enjoy doing, right? They all got to make money, but the money is kind of secondary, right? You reach a point where you're like, time is precious, and you don't want to spend it doing things you don't want to be doing. And so, yeah, running a company is one of those. So, yeah, probably never going to sell a fully thing, Maybe someone else, right? One of my partners might sell a thing, and I can totally back that up and, kind of promote it and get behind it and stuff. That's bound to happen, I think. But me personally, no. I think these open source projects are about it, and these are kind of the first ones that I'm getting into. I kind of like it, It takes it takes a lot of the stress out of, having a product, developing a product and stuff. Because it's not just you. It's kind of like a, community movement kind of thing. Collective movement. I want to see an Indy 500 of electric self-driving cars. Oh, those are coming, right? They have them, I think. Drive Energy Systems says, I got them from Battery Hookup for $10 to sell. A total of 16, something like $180. 2 new Deep Cycle 1000 CA batteries are over $100 a piece. Oh, I see. You got the headways. Oh, yeah. Okay. The headways. Brian Hale says a guy in New Mexico runs his Corvette on hydrogen using tanks filled with hydrate. He runs 300 miles. He's got like 4 scuba gear sized tanks, and they have little heater elements that heat the hydrate. Oh, I saw that video a while ago. Yeah, there are definitely some technologies out there that are cool, but they never took off. What are we talking about here? What is Crystal saying when I schedule my own? Everyone, I know what you're saying, Jehu. Yes, one does need to try and move forward as quick as possible to stay ahead of the curve. Stay ahead of things better than Blockbuster did on Netflix, and everything will be okay. Like Betamax versus VHS. There you go. Oh yeah. So in the ground. A VHF a few hundred watts transmitter will start submitting car electronics down, shutting down control. Really? You know, I thought about this today. I saw a car chase, and then I thought, hey, how come? Well, these guys are never quite that smart, I guess, right? But I'm like, how come none of these guys have ever like had a jammer in one of these cars when they're like in a? Because I guess they don't plan it. Well, that guy that went and shot up Texas did, right? He planned it. It's not like he. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know enough about it. But I thought like someone. I mean, not that I'm saying someone should do this, but I'm saying like, wouldn't it be cool if one of these guys ever that was running away from the cops had a jammer, and then you can just jam all the cops' radios and the thing, and it would be so easy to get away. Or maybe it does happen and they gotten away, and that's why we don't know about it, because they don't televise it. Because I think you can set some of these jammers to like jam everything, including those. The transmitters from the helicopters and all that nonsense, right? You could cause some damage with those things. Prices need to go down on motors. They're not worth the cost. So much upsell in this industry. Which motors? The electric motors? They will. There's it's just they're still kind of early. There's still not a lot of electric cars yet, but they're coming. They're coming. There's one factory that's making over 1,000 of them a day, which sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, is not a lot. J. Carlos wants to send you an email that is some things I want to donate to you to help. Can you do an electric conversion of ice cars? Yes, I have one already. I drive it every day, and I'm not done with it. I am planning to do the battery for that one, which is going to be quite a bit involved. It's going to be a lot of modules and stuff. And I think I'm going to be doing quite a bit of those conversions to different cars, because I'm working up a scheme where I could use those cars to kind of monetize them after I convert them, right? So I can do the whole project and share the process of going through the thing. And then once I'm done with that, then I can use those cars to actually make me money and stuff. So it's kind of a win-win when it comes to that, right? So it's kind of the things that I'm working, and it's a lot of stuff that's have to figure out. But I think the idea is cooking in my head, and it might work. It might work. If I can try it or whatever. What if you rebranded your solar projects as Space Technology Innovation? Well, although I kind of have to go have the space thing in there, I don't know how I would pull that off. I'm surprised NASA don't use relays instead of straight communication with distant satellites. Wait, no, don't they? They do. They use satellites as relays, no? Florida's a slice of paradise, West Coast sunsets. When there's no storms. Jammers are illegal, I think. Yeah, of course they are. They are illegal because they jam everything. It can cause a lot of damage. You could build a miniature space towns powered by solar. That would make great video series. Yeah. Mobile 3D print platforms for planetary construction, something mines and materials on site. Oh. Jam radios and have the set of spike strips in your trunk. There you go, right? I don't. Yeah, see, the cops use all these technologies to get the bad guys. Have they, like in the movies? In the movies, the bad guys always turn the tables around and they use those or better technologies against them, and then the cops end up looking like dummies, That never really happens in real life, I'm just wondering why it never happens. And because most of these, criminals are kind of dumb, I guess. I don't know. Diego, I want to thank you for your amazing videos. Oh, thank you. I'm about to buy your kids a 6,000 DIY power pack. I really want to buy the Panasonic NCR 50 BD from EV West. Yeah, those are pretty good. But they only sell a case of 180 pieces to a total of 480. Your kid suggests to buy the Sony VCT6s 18650 from EV West for 630 a case, 200 pieces. Oh, yeah, you could. Oh, that's true. So it doesn't match. Well, listen, you don't have to build that kit exactly the same. Like, you can just use 180. You'll just be missing 20 cells, which is how many boards? This is like one board, no? So yeah, one board, because one board holds 14 cells each. Yeah, so it's one board less. It's got 14, so you'll use 13, and you could totally use those the 180. Yeah, you can do that. It's like Legos. You can totally do it. I just did it because, I kind of had to use one or the other, and I used that one that has 200, and I just used all 200 of them. We've been not possible, but they are all overpriced, even used. For mobile radios, if it's newer PA25, the ARM encryption, very hard to hack. They changed the ESQ over the air frequency, not really sure anyone. Man, you guys are way over my head there. I don't understand anything you guys are saying there. So where can I buy the lithium batteries to replace my lead acid batteries, and how many do I need for 500 amp hours? Also, I'm still able to run my 12 volt inverter with them. Yeah, you should. You should look at one of my videos where I built a replacement lead acid battery with lithium iron phosphate. There's just go to my channel, look at, I don't know, I did it like last month or a month, 2 months and a half ago or something like that. That's one way, that's one project. There's like a bunch of different ways. You can look at kit.com/Jehu, and I have a whole list of like proven, known batteries that you can buy at good prices, and they're proven, but most of them you have to kind of put them together. There's a bunch of ways you can go about it. I'm doing an e-bike tour down the Pacific Coast. Oh man, that thing jumped. Oh yeah, there we go. On my DIY electric bike starting Thursday. Have you played with e-bikes, Jay? No, haven't. Crystal got a little foldy bike that I'm like, okay, we can convert that into electric, an e-bike, and then I'll make a video about that. I think the FBI has live satellite video of every U.S. city. They rewind satellites videos to any time, date, time to track down criminals anywhere. Nah, that doesn't happen like that. There's no they have to point the cameras wherever they don't just have one lens that just converted everything. But they could do it, I think, if it was important enough. But some guy just running from the cops is not important enough to get that. Smart enough to not rob a bank. Well, that's true. Although robbing a bank by a smart guy and getting away with it is probably the most profitable thing that you could do. Oh, I see. You could rob the bank without, in a legal way. That doesn't land you in jail. Yeah, you're right. It's true. Robbing it in a way that, that's why. A microparticle accelerator to make newer elements. How long will lithium battery like battery pack for an 18-volt drill last brand new and charge last before it goes dead? And what happens if that happens? I mean, just sitting there, it'll last a long time. 10 years, 20 years. It'll lose, I don't know, some energy, and then it'll stay there. But using it depends on the use, right? Power tools usually use their packs really hard, so they don't last very long. You know, maybe they get like, I don't know, 200-300 cycles, maybe 200, about 200 cycles, I'd say. Right, because they go really all the way up, all the way down, and they go really hard on the way down and up, right? So discharge fast and charge fast, so it's not. So usually those batteries in that application, they don't last very long. Will it charge after years of neglect? Yes, you can leave a battery there if it's not connected to electronics that is draining it and leaving it like below at 1 volt. Yeah, it'll just wake up. I have 10-year-old cells. Where are they at? I had them sitting here. I think I put them somewhere. I got them out of my desk here. So I was gonna make a video about that. Specifically that one thing. It's like I have 11-year-old cells that been in a box, right? Who knows what kind of conditions they've experienced. Maybe they were too hot, maybe they were too cold, maybe they were at at a right temperature or whatever. But they're 11 years old, and when I throw them in the testers, they're all pretty good. They're like, they haven't lost any capacity. Now, I think the problem is that they are not able to put out a lot of power. I think that's their biggest downfall. But these are 11-year-old cells. Back 11 years ago, they didn't really have power cells. They weren't really that great cells to begin with. You know, they were like cutting edge because they are like 3,000 milliamp hours. 11 years ago, 3,000 milliamp hour cell was like a cutting edge. I mean, who's using those? Like NASA, maybe. So yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. But I never did the video, and they were sitting here, and eventually I just got this. So yeah, I just didn't make the video. I don't know, it's like another video one, you know, some other ones or whatever. I might still make it one day. What I need to do is like set a goal of like make one video every day again for like a month or something. Or however long I can keep it up, you know. And then that way I can start making little videos, right? Because if the goal is to make one video, then I can't get too elaborate. Because that's the problem that I'm getting at right now. I'm like, oh, I gotta make this video right, but it's gotta be right, and it's gotta have all the info, and it's gotta do the thing. And then the next thing I know, it's just giant video with sources and things and themes and, you know, tangents, and it's going this way and it's going that way. You know, it becomes an overgrown project. So I need to get back to these tiny videos where I'm dealing with one little question and the answer to that one thing and one little experiment, right? And so I need to get into that again. All right, let's go 4 more minutes and then we'll call it quits, because that's gonna be like 2 hours or something. 88 minutes, yeah, 90 minutes. What is that, an hour and a half? That's an hour and a half? Oh my God, yeah, I'm tired. My throat is kind of giving out here. Could build at sea. Supposedly can zoom real time anywhere. And the 15 square miles it monitors uses an array of hundreds of cameras. Really? Holy crap, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do have a thing that's... Why all the talk of today about criminal activities? Hey, well, apparently we all have criminal tendencies. And we should all go to jail, according to some YouTubers. Many flavors of processors for risk-induced instruction set. What? Frank Vala, J, can I put 2 7S 24-volt LiPo packs with BMS? He did a video on them. Can they be put in series to power a 48-volt motor? Yeah, as far as I know, yes, they can. Yeah, you should be able to, as long as they're charged, you know, similar size, similar condition, you know, same state of charge or whatever. You should be able to do them, and there should be not a lot of things that can go wrong. Argus is this on YouTube. I know for myself to find enough time to do everything is difficult. Anyways, great show. You have yourself a great night. Thanks to good live. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, thank you for all the questions and stuff. A drone. When you have some, watch the video in YouTube about Project Sapphire. Sapphire. You will love it. Oh, I gotta check that out. Sapphire. Yes. All right. Let's start calling it quits here. I want to thank everyone. There's 189 of you. I thought there would be more because I went earlier, but I guess maybe everyone is, you know, getting back to work or something. Today's probably the first time a lot of guys worked after the weekend and stuff. Anyways, I want to thank you. Yeah, we probably didn't come with any like real set answers to help the Bahamas, but we will. That's for sure. Eventually, we will find a way to help. Eventually, these people are going to need the comforts of light and communication and, you know, I don't know, some other stuff. Maybe, you know, food that is cold and for medicine or for the CPAP machines, just like we did in Puerto Rico. And so I will make a thing where we will be able to send stuff, you know, either, you know, already built equipment so that they can use that, or we can send them raw materials so they can build them themselves over there. We will do this, you know, and I don't know how it's gonna go. Maybe then, you know, the Bahamas, there's more money there. I think, I don't know. Maybe it's not, the road to recovery won't be maybe as long for them as it was for Puerto Rico. But either way, you know, we'll hopefully we'll play our part in trying to lend a hand and give our particular set of skills that we have to go and help in those conditions, right? So thank you, all of you guys, for spending the time here and for joining me, and thank you for all of you guys that are, I know a lot of you guys are going to help me do this, as you guys did last time, and I think we're going to do a lot of good. So until then, we'll see you around. We'll see you in the next video. All right, stay busy. Join our Facebook group if you're not, and share your builds so that you can inspire the rest of us with your builds, your projects and stuff, so that, you know, we can all keep busy creating our own projects. All right, okay, good night everyone. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. This is a test of a Lidocala branded LGHG2 cell. According to the spec sheet, this cell can do a maximum of 20 amp continuous and shouldn't go above 75 degrees Celsius in temperature. And just like that, with that little crack, the cell is damaged beyond repair. At 15 amp load, this cell reached a maximum temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, at which point the CID was triggered, and now the battery is open circuit. So that's how you kill a fake LGHG2 branded Lidocala cells. You ever wonder what people think about our electric conversions? See the reactions on this 70s Porsche 911.
The one that, yeah, that's good one for me, yeah. Yeah, like.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Fuck yes. In a Porsche. Fuck yes.
All right, guys, let's make another video. Let's answer some of your questions. Keith Tucci, if charging 16 cells at once, do you need to put... Here's an interesting question. You're asking if all the cells have to be at the same voltage for you to be able to charge them together. Let's test that today. Negative to negative, positive to positive, 1.4. Look at that, it's 2.2. Alright, so after 2 hours, the only question left to answer is how much charge did it get? And so I'm gonna test that right now. I'm back at EV West. We're gonna check out some batteries. More
Battery heaven.
These are the, so you know which ones are, right? The VTC 6s, the Sony ones, the 30 amp continuous.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Brand new.
Beautiful. No way. Those are so fancy and nice. Yeah, let me look at that one.
Yeah, watch out. Don't, if you short that as 30 amps. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I know they're like 50, 60 amps.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
This little thing is just, look how tiny that is.
yeah, they're super scary when you're handling them because like
So
if
yeah,
you
this
short
back
it-
so that you can short it with that, right?
well, right here, this is positive. Negative. This is positive right here.
Oh, it's on the top? Oh, it's
Yeah.
right there. Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, so if you like, so when you're like changing them, if you put it on top of the other one, then that one will short out and like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so and they're raw, right? So they're kind of.
I want to see how they like range these in the battery pack because you could have small form factor with this.
Yeah, so they actually are doing positive and negative on the same side.
All right, Saturday. Different crew takes over the shop here in the weekends. They're gonna be working on that Ferrari thing there, so. So the triples are going out. The triplets.
Triplets are going to come out and be part of the world again.
You send them free?
Free the bird. Free bird.
Oh jeez, that's tight.
Wow, look at that. Look at that contactor box. Another feature I haven't seen before are the LED brake lights. They are bright enough to see even in the daylight, and it makes it just that much safer by letting those behind you know that you're rapidly decelerating. Next on the feature list is cruise control. What are you guys doing over there? Okay, today's vlog is going to be educational, and it's gonna be fun for all the BMW fans. All right, as you guys know, I drive the Samba everywhere, and I use these windows. They're called Safari windows. Today I'm gonna help Danny install her windows on her bus. First things first, we gotta remove those. Okay, so here are the... She wants to be cool like me, so, you know, obviously she...
Oh, look at all that rust just in that time.
Okay, so this is what you have to do to prepare their surface, the rust surface area. POR 15, POR 15, and this is what to paint over rust. And to prepare the surface, of course, you have to use like some chemicals in there. We got the first coat right here.
So you have more power and more effective power, plus you have a broader power band.
Yeah.
So it's fun because we both have advantages.
Right.
Like I've got a weight advantage.
Right.
And
It's gonna be close.
You've got every other advantage goes to you, but I got a weight advantage. And I lost 30 pounds.
Oh, pretty good. I thought you looked a little skinnier this round.
Dude, if I win by this much, I'll be like, yeah. Okay, well, post-race analysis. I don't think either of us expected those results.
But still, it's quick. It's very quick.
That was
I'm glad you guys
awesome.
can make it. Yeah,
I
it was fun.
honestly totally expected to lose, and by no means, both of these cars are super fun.
Graphical way.
Yep, exactly.
Sweet, dude. Thanks for letting me ride it. Nice. What? Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's like, it's got the same power as a stock VW.
What? Say that again?
It's got about the same power as a stock VW.
Now.
Yeah, 32 horsepower, dude.
This little thing?
Yeah, isn't that about what the original Volkswagens had?
Yeah.
Yeah, 32 horsepower.
Awesome.
As you guys know, classic cars have really bad brakes. Usually it's because it's all technology, right? It's drum brakes from the 50s, especially like this one right here, right? And so they just don't cut it for modern times. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna change that and put disc brakes. All right, here's what we're replacing them. We're replacing them with two custom-made front hubs milled out of a billet aluminum, right? One big chunk of aluminum by Wagons West out in Oregon. Alrighty. It's like a little mini rim inside. Let me tell you, it's night and day from the original drum brakes that this thing has. Let's go do some donuts. If you're interested in more technical details on this build, please visit Austin's YouTube channel called Ostiwawa. Also, if you're interested in lithium batteries for your projects, check out batteryhookups.com, the sponsor of this video. They have a huge inventory of different types of lithium batteries at really great prices. Let's see if the improvements that we made to it are gonna make it go fast. Let's see if it'll burn rubber. Hold on. You want to see what 10 kilowatts looks like on a meter? So how much does this Powerwall cost? Let's do a rundown on the prices of all the components. First, we have the solar charge controller available for $38.99, the bidirectional meter at $29.99, non-interruptible power supply available for $30. The battery modules are $50 each. There's 10 of them, so it's $500 in total. The 32-inch metal box is $59.22. A fuse holder is $682. The battery management system, the long ones are $14 each, and the main unit is like $200, so it comes down to a total of $342. All of these components come to a grand total of $1,008 US dollars. You can find the links for all these parts on the description of this video. I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future videos, all having to do with DIY renewable energy. You have those little pucks. So then after you take off all the screws,
We got the fun part.
you got the
Grab
front part,
chisel.
and you gotta pry it out. Oh, there. Big air bubble, hit air bubble. A moment of truth. I'm here at the EV show, San Marcos, California, and here is Crystal charging her Tesla
in the solar trailer. So this is a smart one. It follows the sun, it tracks the sun. It's got Tesla batteries in there. Let's see, it's charging. What's it putting in? Oh my God, it's charging at 32 amp, 243 volts. Wait, what? Okay, yes. Wow, this thing is actually charging.
Oh yeah.
No way. That's cool. Okay. Oh, look at that. It just adjusted to follow the sun. The sun's there. Now the panels are facing it. Empty. What's going on here? This is a pretty legit charging station.
Yeah. BTC power, thanks.
As you know, EV West is not the only place turning old gas guzzlers into, ultra-modern electric clean vehicles. There are other people doing the same thing all over the world, such as the case as Conrad and Andrew, all the way down in Australia. These guys are converting cars and they have a bunch of cool projects. VW Bugs. The car that I used to drive